I want to tell you a story. Because somewhere inside this story, there is you. This is a story about a young man who kept telling himself, I'll stop tomorrow, and woke up every morning disappointed that tomorrow never came. His name was Haru. Haru was 19 the first time he smoked. Not because he wanted to, not because he was curious, but because he was tired. Not the kind of tired sleep could fix. Not the kind that went away after a good day. A deeper tired. The kind that sat in his chest when he woke up. The kind that followed him into crowded rooms and made him feel alone. The kind that came from carrying expectations that were never spoken, but always felt. Be better. Be stronger. Don't complain. Don't fail. Haru had learned early that being quiet was safer than being honest. That evening, the city felt heavier than usual. The air was damp, cold. Streetlights reflected on the wet pavement, stretching into long, blurry lines. Cars passed, their engines humming like distant thoughts he couldn't turn off. He stood outside a small convenience store, pretending to check his phone. He wasn't waiting for anyone. He just didn't want to go home yet. Home meant questions. Home meant silence that felt judgmental. Home meant lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying every mistake. So he stayed outside. Nearby, a group of older boys laughed. Their laughter was loud, careless, unburdened. They leaned against the wall like they belonged there, like the world wasn't pressing down on their shoulders. Haru watched them without realizing it. They looked free, not successful, not perfect, just free. One of them noticed him staring and smiled casually, not unkind, just easy. Hey, he said, pulling out a pack. Want one? The cigarette was held out like it meant nothing. And maybe to them it didn't. Haru froze. For a moment, everything inside him pulled backward. He remembered his father, the late-night coughing fits, the way the house would go quiet afterward, the smell that lingered on clothes, on furniture, on memories. He had sworn, quietly, seriously, that he would never smoke. He had been proud of that promise. But standing there, alone, surrounded by noise and light and laughter that wasn't his, that promise felt very far away. What he felt now was closer. The tightness in his chest. The constant pressure to be someone he didn't understand. The exhaustion of always holding himself together. In that moment, Haru didn't want to be disciplined. He didn't want to be responsible. He didn't want to be strong. He wanted, just once, to stop fighting himself. He wanted to belong. So he reached out. His fingers hesitated before touching the cigarette. A small pause. A silent warning, then he took it. The first drag was awful. The smoke scraped down his throat like fire. His chest tightened instantly. His eyes burned, watering without permission. He coughed, embarrassed, turning slightly away. The boys laughed, but not cruelly. First time? Someone asked. Haru nodded, forcing a weak smile. Inside, he was already regretting it. But then, something unexpected happened. As the smoke left his lungs, his breathing slowed. The knot in his chest loosened, just a little. The noise in his head, endless thoughts, worries, self-criticism, softened. Not gone, just quieter. For the first time in a long while, he wasn't thinking about tomorrow, or yesterday, or everything he was failing to become. He was just there, standing, breathing, existing. It only lasted a few seconds, but it was enough. Enough for his body to notice. Enough for his mind to remember. In that moment, without words, without logic, something dangerous settled in him. This makes the pain quiet, and that was all addiction ever needed. Not pleasure, not excitement, not happiness. Just relief. Just a brief silence in a life that had been too loud for too long. At first, Haru smoked only when he was stressed. Not every day, not automatically, only on certain days. After exams that left his hands shaking. After arguments where words stayed trapped in his throat. After long afternoons when he stared at his reflection and felt like he was falling behind everyone else. In those moments, smoking felt earned. Like a reward, like a release. He told himself it was controlled. I can stop anytime. He said it casually, confidently, sometimes out loud, sometimes only in his head. He believed it because he needed to. If he could stop anytime, then he wasn't addicted. If he wasn't addicted, then there was no problem. And if there was no problem, then there was nothing to face. That thought became comforting. That thought became dangerous, because that is the first lie addiction tells. Weeks passed. He didn't count them. They blended together quietly. A cigarette after a stressful day became 2, just to be sure the calm stayed. 2 became something he expected, something his body began to anticipate. Months slipped by the same way, not with alarms, not with warnings, just habits forming in the background of his life. By the time Haru noticed how often he was smoking, it already felt normal. 1 cigarette turned into 2, 2 turned into 5, 5 turned into a full pack that somehow ended sooner than it should have. He told himself it was temporary. Things are just hard right now. I'll cut back later. Once life slows down, life never slowed down. Slowly, smoking stopped being something he decided to do. It became something that happened. A rhythm his day revolved around, a pattern his body recognized before his mind did. There was a cigarette in the morning, before he felt awake. The smoke hit his lungs before his thoughts could form. A cigarette after meals, to settle his stomach, he told himself. A cigarette when bored, because boredom felt too close to emptiness. A cigarette when anxious, because anxiety demanded an escape. A cigarette when happy, because happiness felt fragile and he wanted to hold on to it. A cigarette when sad, because sadness felt too heavy to carry alone. Every emotion had a cigarette attached to it. Every moment had a reason. Somewhere along the way, the cigarette stopped doing what it used to. It didn't calm him. It didn't soothe him. It didn't quiet the noise anymore. What it did was prevent something worse. The shaking, the irritability, the tight crawling feeling under his skin. The cigarette no longer fixed the pain. It only delayed it, but Haru didn't notice the exact moment that changed. There was no clear line, no sudden realization, because addiction never announces itself. It doesn't knock, it doesn't shout. It settles in quietly, like dust, invisible at first, harmless looking, until one day you look around, and everything you own is covered in it. The first time Haru tried to quit, he did it the way most people do. Suddenly, dramatically, with no plan, cold turkey, pure willpower, pure anger directed inward. He didn't research. He didn't ask for help. He didn't prepare his mind. He just reached a breaking point. He stared at the half-empty pack in his hand. The smell alone made his chest tighten. The weight of it felt heavier than it should have. This is ruining me, he thought. And in a burst of frustration, almost hatred, he threw it into the trash. He stood there for a moment, breathing hard, like he had just won a fight. "I'm done," he said out loud, not calmly, defiantly. Day 1 felt almost empowering. The cravings came, but they were distant, easy to ignore. He told himself this was proof he was in control. See? Not that hard. He drank more water, kept himself busy, went to bed early, proud. Day 2 was different. His body noticed something was missing. A dull headache settled behind his eyes. His mood shifted without warning. Little things irritated him more than they should have. He snapped at people, then apologized, then felt guilty for snapping in the first place. Still, he pushed through. This is just the process, he told himself. Day 3 was hell. There was no other word for it. His hands trembled even when he was sitting still. His head pounded like something was trying to escape from inside it. His skin felt tight, itchy, wrong. But the physical pain wasn't the worst part. It was manageable. What broke him was what came after. The emptiness, the long, unbearable pauses in his day. Smoking had filled those gaps without him realizing it. It gave structure to his time, an excuse to step away, a reason to breathe. It gave his hands something to hold, his mouth something to do, his mind something to focus on when emotions swelled. Now there was nothing. No ritual, no release, just silence. And in that silence, everything he had been avoiding came rushing back. The doubts, the regrets, the questions he never wanted to answer. Who am I without this? Why do I feel so lost? Why does being alone with myself feel unbearable? He had been running for years, and now there was nowhere left to go. On the 4th day, he failed, not in a dramatic way, quietly. He stood outside the same convenience store. Didn't think, didn't hesitate, just bought a pack. The first drag didn't bring relief. It brought shame. His chest tightened, not from the smoke, but from disappointment in himself. He smoked anyway, Not because he wanted to, because he felt like he deserved the punishment. And that's how shame became another trigger, another reason to smoke. Not to escape pain, but to escape the pain of failing to escape. Haru tried again, and then again, and then again. Each attempt began with the same quiet determination and ended the same way, exhausted, disappointed, ashamed. He would wake up one morning and decide, today is the day. He would throw away the pack. He would promise himself this time was different. And for a while he believed it. But every failure left a mark, not on his body, on how he saw himself. Each relapse chipped away at his self-respect. Each broken promise became proof, at least in his mind, that something was wrong with him. The questions grew louder. Why am I so weak? Why can't I stop? What's wrong with me? He didn't ask them with curiosity. He asked them with contempt. He compared himself to others. People who quit and never looked back. People who said, I just decided to stop. Why couldn't he do that? Why did his hands shake while others stayed calm? Why did his mind scream while others felt peace? Every comparison made the answer feel obvious. He was broken. But what Haru didn't understand, what no one had ever explained to him, was this. Addiction is not a moral failure. It is not a lack of discipline. It is not weakness. It is a nervous system stuck in survival mode. Haru's brain wasn't trying to destroy him. It was trying to protect him from overwhelm, from emotional overload, from pain it didn't know how to process. When stress hit, his body remembered the fastest exit it had ever found. Not because it was good, but because it worked. Smoking wasn't the enemy. It was the solution his brain created at a time when he had no other tools. A crude solution, a damaging one, but still a solution. Every cigarette said the same thing. Calm down. You're safe. The pain will pass. His nervous system believed it. And here was the mistake Haru kept making. He tried to destroy the solution without creating a replacement. He ripped away the only thing his body trusted to regulate stress. Then he blamed himself when his system panicked. Willpower told him stop. His nervous system screamed, survive. And survival always won. Not because Haru was weak, but because biology is stronger than motivation. So every time he relied on willpower alone, he was fighting himself. And that was why he kept losing. Not because he lacked strength, but because he was using the wrong weapon against the wrong battle. Everything changed on an ordinary day. Not during a crisis, not after a breakdown. Not at rock bottom, just a quiet afternoon at a public bathhouse. The air inside was warm and heavy with steam. Water echoed softly against tile. Voices were low, unhurried. Haru came there because he couldn't sleep. Hot water was one of the few things that still eased his body, if only for a moment. As he stepped out of the bath, he reached for his towel. His hands trembled. Not violently, just enough to be noticeable. He tried to steady them. He didn't. You smoke, a voice said calmly, not accusing, not curious, just observant. Haru looked up. An old man sat nearby, relaxed, his posture loose in a way only years can teach. His hair was thin and white, his face lined, but his eyes were sharp, gentle, awake. Haru felt exposed. He nodded. Yes, he said quietly. Then, almost instinctively, like a confession he needed to make, he added, I'm trying to quit. The old man smiled. Not proudly, not sympathetically, just knowingly. In Japan, he said slowly, as if choosing each word with care. We do not break bad habits by fighting them. Haru frowned. The words didn't match what he'd always been told. Everything he knew about quitting involved force, control, punishment. He waited. We replace them, the old man continued. Slowly, gently, with respect. Respect, that word caught Haru off guard. He had never treated his addiction with respect. Only anger, only disgust. The old man leaned back slightly, the steam curling around him. There is a word, he said. Kaizen. Haru had heard it before, but only in passing. The man explained. Kaizen means small, continuous improvement. Not dramatic change. Not sudden transformation. Small steps. So small they seem pointless. No force, the old man said. No self-hatred. No war against yourself. Just one tiny improvement. Repeated. every day. Haru listened without interrupting. For the first time, quitting didn't sound violent. It didn't sound like punishment. It sounded possible. The old man stood up, wrapping his towel around his waist. "You do not remove the cigarette," he said gently. "You remove its job." Haru didn't fully understand yet, but something inside him loosened. Because for the first time, someone wasn't telling him to be stronger. They were telling him to be kinder. And strangely, that felt more powerful. Instead of quitting smoking, Haru was given a single rule. Not a challenge, not a deadline, not a threat, just one instruction. Smoke one less cigarette per day. That was it. No speeches about willpower, no warnings about failure, no pressure to become a different person overnight. Just one less. If he smoked 10 a day, he smoked 9. Nothing else changed. He didn't promise himself anything. He didn't swear this was the last time. He simply stopped after the 9th cigarette. The next day, if he succeeded, he went down to 8. If he failed, he didn't punish himself. He stayed where he was. There were no heroics in it, no dramatic moments. Most days felt almost disappointingly normal, but that was the point. When cravings hit, he was given another rule. He wasn't allowed to fight them. No clenching his fists, no arguing in his head, no bargaining. He was told to observe them, like watching weather move across the sky. The urge would rise in his chest, his thoughts would speed up. His body would lean forward, already imagining the first drag. Instead of reacting, he paused and named it, not emotionally, factually. A craving is present, not "I need this," not "I can't handle this." Just an observation, like noting a sound in the distance, like noticing hunger, like feeling tired. This came from another Japanese idea the old man had mentioned, mushin. No mind, not empty, not numb, just unattached. Haru learned to watch his thoughts without grabbing onto them. The thought's smoke now would appear. He didn't push it away. He didn't follow it. He let it exist. Something strange happened when he did this. The craving didn't grow. It didn't spiral. It rose, hovered, and faded much faster than before. Before, cravings felt like enemies. They demanded attention. They grew louder when resisted. Now they felt more like signals. Temporary, uncomfortable, but not dangerous. Haru began to notice a pattern. The moment he stopped wrestling the craving, it lost its power, not because he defeated it, but because he stopped feeding it. And for the first time, he realized something important. Cravings don't last forever, but the fight against them can. So he stopped fighting. And little by little, the grip loosened. But there was another problem Haru couldn't ignore. Smoking was never just about nicotine. Nicotine was only the surface. What held the addiction in place was the ritual. The cigarette marked moments in his day. It told his body when to start, when to pause, when to calm down, when to reset. It wasn't random. It was structure. If he removed the cigarette without replacing what it represented, something always broke. The mornings felt empty. Breaks felt restless. Stress had nowhere to go. So Haru stopped trying to remove the habit. He replaced the ritual. The morning cigarette became morning tea. Not rushed, not distracted. He stood still, hands warm around the cup, breathing in the steam. It gave his body the same signal. The day has begun. The break time cigarette became a short walk. Not exercise, not productivity, just movement. 5 minutes outside. No destination, no phone. The stress cigarette became slow breathing, long exhale, short pause, another inhale. He didn't aim to feel good. He aimed to feel steady. The timing stayed the same. The structure stayed the same. The cue stayed the same. Only the behavior changed. This mattered more than motivation ever did. Because motivation fades, emotion fluctuates. Discipline gets tired, but rituals carry you forward even when you don't feel strong. Haru wasn't becoming a new person. He was teaching his body a new language, one moment at a time. One night, months later, Haru relapsed. Not dramatically, not with a pack in one sitting, just one cigarette, the familiar weight of the pack in his hand, the familiar motion of lighting it, the familiar drag into his lungs. For a second, his body sighed. Relief whispered its old, dangerous promise. But unlike before, he didn't panic. Unlike before, He didn't feel the crushing shame that used to follow. He remembered the lesson the old man had shared. Kintsugi, the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery with gold. The cracks aren't hidden. They aren't disguised. They are honored. They become part of the object's story, part of its beauty. Haru looked at the cigarette in his hand. He could feel the old shame bubbling up. The voice that used to scream, "You failed, again, worthless." He stopped it. He breathed. He said to himself, "This is a crack, and I will fill it with awareness. Not judgment, not punishment, not guilt, just acknowledgement." The next morning he woke up. The cigarette was still in his past, but it no longer controlled the day. He didn't binge. He didn't spiral. He didn't berate himself for being human. Instead, he continued, step by step, ritual by ritual, one less cigarette, one observation at a time. And for the first time, Haru understood something profound. Relapse isn't failure. It's feedback. A crack to be honored. A moment to learn. A chance to grow stronger, not weaker. Freedom didn't arrive with fireworks. No dramatic moment. No sudden epiphany. No rush of triumph. It arrived quietly, almost unnoticed. One ordinary morning, Haru realized something strange. He had gone hours, maybe the entire morning, without thinking about smoking. Not resisting it. Not craving it. Not negotiating with himself over it. Just living. He was making tea, listening to the hum of the city outside, feeling the warmth of the sun on his skin. And the cigarette wasn't part of the picture. It was absent. Weeks passed. He walked past the convenience store near his home and barely noticed it. He caught a whiff of smoke on the street. It smelled harsh, alien, not comforting, not familiar. Something inside him recoiled. Months passed. He realized he no longer identified as a smoker. The word no longer fit him. It didn't describe who he was. It didn't belong in the story he was living. He didn't quit smoking. He didn't fight it with sheer willpower. He didn't punish himself when he failed. He simply became someone who no longer needed it. And that was the final step. Not habit, not discipline. Identity. Identity beats habit. The cigarettes weren't gone. They weren't enemies. They simply no longer had a place in his life. Haru felt lighter, calmer, whole. And in that quiet, ordinary moment, he understood what real freedom feels like. Not the absence of struggle, not the absence of cravings, but the absence of attachment. He was free, truly free. If you're struggling with addiction right now, it's not because you're weak. It's not because you lack discipline. It's not because you're a bad person. It's because you're trying to destroy a coping mechanism without understanding why it exists. Addiction is clever. It isn't a moral failing. It is a system your body created to survive when nothing else worked. The Japanese way isn't war. It isn't force. It isn't punishment. It is alignment. Small steps. Gentle awareness. Respect for your nervous system. No screaming at yourself. No endless self-recrimination. No pushing until you break. You don't need to fight yourself. You need to walk yourself home. Slowly. Carefully. Patiently. Observe the cravings without reacting. Replace the rituals without shame. Honor the cracks when relapse happens. Celebrate every tiny victory, no matter how small. Because real change doesn't come from beating yourself. It comes from guiding yourself, closing. Haru didn't win by force. He didn't win by anger, by guilt, by sheer willpower. He won by patience. And so can you. Not today, not tomorrow, not after one dramatic moment of resolve, but one small step, every day. And slowly, almost without noticing, you will arrive. You will become someone who no longer needs the habit. Someone who is free. Someone whole.